Welcome, football fans, but most importantly, USFL fans, to episode 16 of the USFL Authority, your best place for USFL hot takes, USFL news, and USFL debates. So, as always, I am your host, Ace, on a different side of the screen, I'm realizing right now. And joining me is my co-host, Webb. Webb, how you doing, man?
Good, man. I can't believe it's been 4 months. Every Wednesday night we film it. Every Wednesday night I'm hanging out with Ace. Outside of, we both missed one episode, but yeah, it's been a crazy 4 months.
I don't think KB's missed an episode though, right?
No, KB's the Cal Ripken of the USFL network.
Cal Ripken Jr.
Yeah, Cal Ripken.
There you go. All right. So, wow, we got a lot to cover this week. And first off, we have, what is it? Our players of the week?
Or power rankings.
Power rankings. Sorry, there's a thing covering it on my screen. But okay. And we move on to the power rankings. I gotta say, I really like these power rankings. I don't know why.
Oh, wow.
I just really like them. I really like them. So what do you so let's start off. Who's too high for you?
The Stallions.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
I think the Breakers should be higher than them still. And watch out for number 4. I learned my lesson this week. So
the Showboats,
watch out for number 4.
I don't know what's up with them.
And I think the Maulers could be too high. I know that's a hot take coming from me, but the Maulers might be too high there right now. So
I think that after this week's showing, I take the Panthers over the Generals. Honestly, you had Shalom Luani and Chris Orr go down. Who knows if they can play this week? And the Generals, if you're not going to play DeAndre Johnson, yeah, you're 8th. You're bad. They're a bad team. If they're
I want to know what happened
at
Brew Cup. That's what I want. I want to know what happened.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
He was playing and he played all right against the Stallions. Like, yeah, they didn't score a touchdown. Like, he moved the ball. They just didn't execute in the red zone and went for it on 4th down. Like, I don't understand what is happening in New Jersey, and which is crazy because that coaching staff is probably the one that I'm like, that's the old reliable. That's, we keep
Isn't that the coaching staff that you drafted?
That was the coaching staff that I drafted because, like, I just trust Mike Riley and I believe in the Generals and they stick to their identity. And I'm just shocked of what's going on in New Jersey. Well, in Canton, but for the Generals.
That's what I'm saying. I think right now they're playing like the worst team. I don't get what they're doing. Maybe they're trying to lull everybody into a false sense of security, but it's bad. So,
but they're only one game out of the playoffs.
Dude, everybody is. Literally everybody in the league is.
Actually, right now, they actually are the 2nd team in the North. So they actually, if the season ended right now, they would be in the playoffs while the Stallions would be out of the playoffs.
Yeah. And this is a tough week, right? Because everybody is one game out. Yeah. There's a 1 game difference in everybody. And this is the week that, I told Mav we were doing Tell Me About It, and I made him pick a game of the week, which is really hard because every game has direct playoff implications. And I said my game of the week was going to be the Stallions Breakers. Why? Because in the South right now, it's all literally even in my eyes. But if the Stallions lose and the Gamblers win, then there is now a bridge. Then we see who is top dog and who is bottom. And it's not like, oh, you could flip the Stallions and Gamblers. I know there's a head-to-head, blah, blah, blah. No, there is now a 2-game difference, and we know who's in and who's out. So I think that's my game, and that's why I have the Stallions too high.
Perfectly said, because the Stallions, if they lose to the Breakers, they do not have any tiebreaker. They don't have a tiebreaker against anyone in that division outside of the Showboats.
Yeah.
And basically, they would have to – the other teams would have to lose more than what they're kind of playing and like they're going to lose.
Yeah.
I know they're all playing each other, so like you would need a lot of help. So this is a must-win for the Stallions, and I think it's the same thing for the Maulers.
I agree. And he said his was Stars Maulers was his game of the week. So, yeah, we were on the same thing. All right. So power rankings. I love them. The Gamblers absolutely deserve number 1. They're the hottest team. They have a 4-win streak. That's the longest streak in the league right now. They look good. The offense kind of stalled, kind of wasn't able to move the ball as much, and the defense absolutely stepped up. Right now, I think they're one of the best rush defenses in the league. the fact that they have added bigger bodies in the center of the D-line. They're adding defenders each week. This is the team to beat. So it's a little scary being at the top. I've never felt this as a Gamblers fan. I'm kind of scared.
And a Vikings fan.
And a Vikings fan, yeah. I'm afraid that we're going to fall, but it's cool to be up here for a week. I'm enjoying it. So whatever happens, at least I had this. But, okay. All right. But before we move on to player of the week, we did tell you guys that last week we were reading the comments. We read every comment that anybody places on videos, and we're going to have a comment of the week moving forward. And this week, we posted a YouTube short that was sent by Brandon. He posted it onto the YouTube. It was the kick six, the first kick six in the modern USFL history by Derek Dillon, 109 yards. It can be tied. It can never be broken. And someone commented, Dan W 2112, he said, great Rush album. He said, almost exactly like the ending of the 2013 Iron Bowl where Auburn beat Alabama with a game-winning kick six return. I remember that. The kick six. That's where they came up. Like, I had never heard kick six until that game, right?
Yeah.
So that game came up with the name. And I love the juxtaposition that he's saying that, because that is exactly what I thought of when I saw it. It was almost an identical play. Yeah,
except it didn't decide who was going to the
national championship.
The national championship, the BCS Bowl.
Yeah,
but Chris Davis returning that kick, and just the emotion in that stadium, I'll never forget it. I know exactly where I was. I first moved down to Georgia, and I was like, this is SEC football. And when he returned it, and they were both undefeated going into it, and just Saban messed up, and there's just a lot of emotion with that one. But it was awesome to see Derek Dillon, even against the Maulers, return that kick. It was an exciting play for a game that kind of lacked excitement completely. But it definitely reminded me of that 2013 game. So
it was
good call.
The play itself felt exactly the same. And like you said, I remember where I was when it happened. Not just the emotion in the stadium, the emotion in my living room. I hate Alabama. I hate Roll Tide. I hate it so much. I'm always War Eagle when the Iron Bowl rolls around. And when that happened, I jumped off my couch. I was in El Paso, hit my shin on the coffee table. Like, I remember exactly what happened. It was insane when that happened. So perfect example. Thank you for commenting, Dan W 2112. We appreciate you. Everybody keep throwing the comments, and maybe you'll see it up here on the big board. All right. So moving on to the next scheduled programming is our players of the week. Now, we talked before the show, so we made sure we didn't have the same one. Who is yours?
Alex McGough. I know I give them a lot of heat, the Stallions, but he's carrying this team right now. The fact that he only had 132-yard passing, 2 touchdowns, but he had
3 touchdowns.
Well, he had a rushing touchdown.
Passing, yeah.
And Holtz trusts him. Like, if you listen to the play calling, Holtz is telling him, do you want this or do you want that? There's not many, like when you listen to Flip, even with MBT or Troy Williams or whatever game, they just give him the straight play. Holtz gives him like options, and the fact that he has that much trust, and he was the backup quarterback to start the season.
Which is crazy to me.
He has so much responsibility as the Stallions quarterback. I definitely have to start giving him some respect, especially this past week. But Alex McGough, who do you got?
I said it on Tell Me About It that the Stallions are a quarterback away from being the worst team in the league. If McGough goes down, I think that they don't win another game.
Wow.
I don't think their defense is playing well. I think that he extends plays. I don't think the receivers are getting open fast enough. So I really do think that they are a Magoo away from being the worst team in the league. But my player of the week is Amani Dennis, number 29 on that Stars defense, the league leader in interceptions. He had a pick 6 this week against MBT and the Breakers, and that was the decider, basically. That score, not only did it shift all the momentum, but they only won by 1 score. And I think he's showing that Channing Stribling, he got the extra money to come back. He was drafted in the XFL and all that stuff. Everybody loves Channing Stribling, but Amani Dennis is quietly the best corner in this league. He is. Wow. And I know. And you're saying that, we got Marcus Gilbert out there. We got all these different people. Adonis Alexander, whoever you want to say, I think Amani Dennis is hands down the best corner in the league. And I think he beat the Breakers this week. I don't think Case Cook in the offense did it. I think it was Amani Dennis and the Stars defense and Luis Aguilar, obviously.
But
the dude is a game changer.
Yeah, their offense isn't producing right now, but they're able to get victories because the secondary is playing well. The Stars secondary won that game with the kicker, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Philadelphia's on the upswing.
They are.
Yeah.
You know, it's that mid-season uptick. Maybe we're going to see it every year going forward. We saw it last year. We're starting to see it this year. And I like the Stars. I don't hate them. You know, I don't really dislike any North teams other than the Generals. I don't really like, but that's some other stuff. But the Stars, I like them, man. I was rooting for them in the championship last year. I got to see it live. I saw how hard they played. I saw how hard they took it when they lost. Amani Dennis, actually bring it full circle. There were two players from the Stars that stood there and they watched the entirety of the celebration afterwards with, you know, tears in their eyes, just looking upset. It was Sean Brown and Amani Dennis. The two of them stood there off to the side on the sideline, and they watched the entire celebration of the Stallions because, you know, it's one of those, I'm going to watch this because I want to remember this feeling and I never want to feel it again. So that really is part of the reason I believe in the Stars no matter what. That's why.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go to week 7 though, because after the Maulers game, I'm just ready to move on. Let's
all right. On. So let's do our week 7 predictions. Boom. Oh, that's not right. Whoa, I didn't share my screen. That's why. I get messed up with the sharing the screen, but it's whatever. All right. Now we're sharing it.
There we go.
So, interesting week because we didn't choose a single game the same. Not a single one.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. So after last week, now there is only one game difference between our records. I'm 11-13. You are 12-12. I think this proves that any team can beat any team any week. Last week, you said I was going to go 0-4, and I ended up changing. I said the Maulers were going to beat the Showboats. I'm dumb for that because otherwise I would have gone 3-1 if I had changed that, and I didn't let you talk me out of it. I said the Stars were going to beat the Breakers. Remember, I told you this is the midseason uptick. This is going to happen. I think that they can do it. We've seen how to stop the Breakers. They did it. And it's crazy. The only thing is because of Mav, I kind of go for the Panthers. I want them to do better and see my brother happy, but I digress. All right. So game 1, Stallions and Breakers. I believe this one, it's the only game on Fox, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I might be wrong. Nope. Well, that's the only game on Fox.
Yeah, the other ones are on NBC and USA, right?
They're on USA and 2 on FS1. Now, Logan is incredibly excited about this. Our boy Lo, our Breakers representative, he's incredibly excited because the Breakers have had the worst average viewership of any of the teams. But they finally get, I think it's a 3-week run of all Fox and NBC games, you know, big channels. So this is a big one, and it's a huge game. It's my game of the week, and it's the first game of the week. So it's cool. They're going to play it in the sun. I picked the Stallions. You picked the Breakers. Why did you pick the Breakers after a 2-game losing streak?
Because I think in this league, either game can go both ways. I trust the Breakers as a complete team more than I trust the Stallions. I think I've talked about it ad nauseum over the last 5 weeks. The Stallions are banged up. Alex Magoo is tremendous, but I just think that the Breakers are going to figure it out. They started 4-0 not because they're garbage. You know what I mean? Like, they are a good team. They're just struggling right now. Every team's entitled to a little lull. And what's the best way to get out of a lull? You play your biggest rival, your hub mate, the team you hate the most. You know, there's a lot of history here. So this is gonna wake up Flip. Remember, Flip was at the Daytona 500 saying he wants to beat the Stallions. So this is one of the games that they
said he wanted to beat him twice.
They beat him twice. Well, guess what? They got to do it.
He's already done it once.
Yeah, they got to do it right now. So I just have a feeling that the Stallions, I don't know, man. Like, Magoo is good, and like you said, they're a Magoo away from being one of the worst teams in the league. I think they're beatable, and I think the Breakers are a very good team. I think that they've hit a little slide, and that's it. So they'll recover this week.
Well, I'm going to say something that's going to be, 1, weird for me to say, but 2, going to make a lot of our fans excited because a lot of the people who watch the show are Stallions fans.
Yeah.
Magoo is the MVP frontrunner, and that's coming from a guy who watches Mark Thompson run through defenses every single week. Magoo is ridiculous. Each week, his QBR has never fallen under 100, which is ridiculous to me. That's crazy. And even the week that I think he got held up the most, which was against the Gamblers, where they got in his head. Yes, he still had some stats, but a lot of it was garbage time. So, I mean, it wasn't a fantastic game, but he still looked like the best player on their offense. The dude is the difference. When you watch the touch pass that he threw to CJ Marable that was supposed to be just a little wheel route, and then he turned it into a fade route, that pass was perfect. He hit him in the bread box. Magoo's the difference. I think Birmingham's going to show up this game. Like, people have been questioning Birmingham's attendance. I think they show up. This is the game to show up. Luke Miller, Buck, they've been out on social media preaching at this game saying, you got to come. It's going to be great. And I think it's going to be the best game of the weekend. And I just think that Magoo is the difference right now, that when you have one team that's getting better, one team that's getting worse, I think that the Stallions are going to take it over. And I think it's going to be the Gamblers and Stallions in the playoffs.
So hold on. You said one team getting better, one team getting worse. The Stallions last week, we both agreed that the Stallions were kind of sleepwalking through this 3-week. They were a Deion Kane kick away from going a 3-game losing streak.
But
they beat the mighty Panthers, and all of a sudden now we're back on. No. I'm not sitting
here saying that. Oh, they're the Stars on a huge uptick. I'm not saying that they're the Gamblers and the Showboats who look like the hottest teams right now. But what I'm saying is that they are getting it done. It may not look pretty, but they're getting it done. They're finding ways, right? And I don't know. I just think that the Breakers, you've seen, it just looks like they're giving up. MBT, he's in his head. He's throwing bad interceptions. Like, all you have to do is stop Wes Hills, and then suddenly the Breakers have zero offense. That's just not something that I'm going to get behind this week. They need to prove that they can go back to what they were back when defenses still were calling more vanilla plays and offenses hadn't gotten into a rhythm. If you go 4-0 in the first 4 weeks compared to 4-0 in the last 4 weeks, the last 4 weeks is always going to impress me more, because in a league like this where you don't have that much prep time, you are not seeing the best football from any team until the second half of the season. And that's when the Breakers are going to start falling off. That's not when I want to see that.
Fair enough.
I just blacked out and went super hard right there. Okay, so game 2, Stars at your Maulers. Now, this is the one that I have highlighted in gold because it's the game that I'm the most confident in.
Go for it. I did go for it.
Man, I think that either of these teams could win. I think they're pretty equal. Both of them cannot get it done in the red zone. Both of them have kickers that are on fire. I think the Maulers defense is better, but I think right now the Stars are just figuring it out. The Stars are finding a way to win where the Maulers are coming up short. And that's the difference for me. We saw it last year. The Stars suddenly started putting it together, and I feel like we're seeing that again this year. I trust Bart Andrus and his coaching. I think that the play calling for the Maulers is not going to get creative enough. I just don't believe in the Maulers yet. I think their offense has shown me one half decent week, and that's just not enough.
So the Maulers, their 2 wins are against the Stars and the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Teams that can't
protect their quarterback.
Some would consider the 2 worst offensive lines in the league. Right?
I think they are. They are the worst 2 offensive lines.
So the best defensive line and linebacker core belong in black and gold, correct?
Yeah.
So the best is going against the worst in the most important portion of the game, the line, controlling the line. And you're telling me the Stars are going to beat them?
Yep.
Come on, man. The Maulers, the Showboats are better than what everyone thinks they are. The Showboats came in and smacked the Maulers in the mouth. No one's going to deny that. No one's going to deny it.
It was tough.
But the Showboats, I think, are better than what anyone's giving them credit for. You're saying, oh, the Maulers' offense is bad, and that's why the Showboats were able to shut them out. Yes, I know how you could turn that. But I think the Showboats' defense is better than what you're giving credit for, honestly.
I agree.
The Maulers come back. When they started this uptick, it was against the Stars in Detroit. It's going to happen.
You think that they're going to have another uptick against the Stars this week?
Against the Stars, oh, without a doubt. Because Cookers isn't going to be able to move the ball. This ain't the Breakers defense, all right? This is not the Breakers defense.
Breakers defense is not good.
Exactly. And they were able to hold them for the most part to field goals and then the Armani Dennis touchdown, right? The Stars kicked what 8 field goals the week before against the Generals.
That was wild.
So they're not scoring touchdowns. The only way you can beat the Maulers is scoring touchdowns, unless you're going to have a Derek Dillon play.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think that you can beat the Maulers without scoring a touchdown.
I don't believe it.
I do.
Okay.
The Maulers offense has just not shown me enough.
You've just talked me into changing my gold pick to the Maulers. Like without a doubt. And I know
too bad that it's already there.
It's too late now. I get that. But you just talked me into it because the Stars really haven't done a better job on their offensive line. They've been able to control it. They can't run the ball. If you can't run the ball, you're not beating the Maulers. It's just fact. It's fact.
Maybe.
It's fact. If you're telling me they're the worst rushing offense and you're going against the best defense, you're not beating the Maulers. Like so can you do a little clip art right here and just put a little gold box around it because that's locked in now.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to the next game where I can get a little heated. We have the Gamblers at the Showboats, and you picked the Showboats. Yep. Why?
I picked Showboats because I think they are. Everyone remembers the 42-2 loss.
Yeah.
They don't remember the close loss to the Gamblers the first time. They don't remember you do because you wear black and red every day, like you're a Georgia Bulldog fan. No one remembers their week 1 loss to the Stars because they really were a Brady White interception away from beating them, right? No, but okay. So you've got
and I described it. I described it in Tell Me About It that they were in the Panthers last year. The Panthers had to start Shea Patterson the first couple of weeks because he was the Michigan boy. The Showboats had to start Brady White until they physically could not, so that Memphis fans would show up to the game. And now they put Cole Kelly in, and it clicks, right? Yep. And I get that, but the Gamblers defense is playing the best that they've ever played. And I just think that the offense will do enough that they can win. And also, the only reason that the Showboats were that close in the last game was the fact that the Gamblers had 180 yards in penalties. That's crazy. They have 2 penalties in 2 weeks.
You're sounding like a Stallion fan right now from a couple weeks ago, talking about penalty yards.
No, we still won. But we were killing ourselves in penalties. It was, I wanted to pull my hair out because I'm not saying that we were wrong. I'm not saying that we weren't committing the penalties. We were. Okay. We were committing the penalties, and it was
all right. That's
awful.
Different than the Pony fans.
No, 100%, 100%. We were committing the penalties, and I wanted to pull my hair out because I was like, "Why? Why are we doing this? Why are we so undisciplined right now?" You know, I'm not sitting there blaming the refs. The refs were just calling it because we were putting up easy calls. It was ridiculous. But then now in the last 2 weeks, we have 2 penalties in 2 weeks because they addressed it. Curtis Johnson got this team to rally, and they are playing discipline, and they are playing team-oriented, and not me. Not, I want to be a star. It's the team. And I think that the fact that they're playing that discipline now, they're playing the best defense they played all season. I think that they have the Showboats number.
That's fine. I just think Cole Kelly's a gamer. No,
he's a gamer. He's 100% a gamer.
Like to be. We talked before the show. Every one of these games, if I go 0-4, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. 100%. Like we had to put a gold because we started this a gold lock square around one of them. But every game I could see the other team winning.
100%.
But I believe the Showboats are on the uptick. I think that defense is rolling. That defense is so good, man. And this is coming from a Maulers fan. Like that defense is getting close to the Maulers. They create turnovers, they pressure the quarterback, their linebackers hit. They just got to figure out enough offense. And I think Cole Kelly's the guy, and I think he's a gamer, and I think they owe you one. And it's in Memphis like it was last time, but I just have this feeling that the Showboats are going to come out and just barely get a win over you guys because you guys are riding high.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about the reason why, I think, in a little bit when we do Broken Wings.
Okay. So then we move on to the last game. Yeah. The 4th game in a row that we have opposite picks. I'll start. I think that the Panthers, they cannot be worse. And I still didn't feel like they were that out of the game with the Stallions until the 4th quarter. Their defense plays well. They play very well they're going against the Generals offense that is playing the worst I've ever seen them. So I think that they can do it. They have a new quarterback in Luerk. I think if they bring him in, it's been a week, badly it, like full send, go for it. I think they can pull it out this week against who I think might be the worst team in the league in the Generals. That is my thing. I'm fully riding on Frank Ginda, Breland Speaks, and that defense.
Fair enough. I chose the Generals over a coin flip, over I trust Mike Riley more than I trust Mike Nolan right now. I Ted Cottrell over Eric Marty right now. I just feel like the Generals will figure it out faster than the Panthers. The Panthers seem like they are a dumpster fire. They released Ish Hyman today. You know what I mean? Like
that didn't help me, but it's okay.
No, but like
didn't help my pick.
Like why? Like he's not the top receiver. Obviously, you can do Trey Quinn or you can do Joe Walker, but
he's at least top 3.
Yeah, but he's been important in game plans, and now all of a sudden, and who knows what happened, but it just seems like something. It's almost like the Maulers last year when they're cutting players that were decent, like Westbrooks, who's ironically on the Panthers right now. Like he was performing a little bit, and you start to wonder like what's going on in the locker room because it's just weird cuts. They cut that draft pick, like they signed the draft pick at week 1, and by week 4 he's gone. And it's like you drafted him, you brought him in, and then
he played a game and he played well,
and then he's gone,
and then he's gone the next week.
It seems like something's going on there. While the Generals are old reliable, and I just think, and it's weird to say that because it's season 2, like we've only had 1.5 years, but like I feel like the Generals just have like an identity, and maybe I'm completely wrong, and I fell in love with the team last year, just watching them and rooting for them kind of because they knew their identity all of last year, and that might be part of my problem. But I could see the Panthers winning, but the Generals were my lock because I trust Mike Riley more than the Panthers coaching staff right now.
I can see it both ways. I mean, honestly, like you said, every one of these games is a coin flip. It could go either way, and I'm not going to be surprised.
What's the biggest blowout of the week? Like who wins by the most?
I think it could potentially be the Stallions.
That's crazy because I potentially think it could be the Breakers.
Oh my gosh. All right. Whatever. All right. Well, let me pull this banner back up. So we have done our week 7 predictions, and our next thing is our newest segment. We're trying to mix it up every week, and Webb came up with this one. It is Broken Wings. It's the most ridiculous video. That's from what I don't even
know. I don't know the movie. I don't know the movie.
Some crazy, terrible, like 90s or 80s horror movie about birds that go crazy. But Broken Wings, it is our new segment. Webb and I each picked a division. I'm going to handle the North. He's going to handle the South. Now, each team is a bird with a broken wing, and we are going to name what that wing is. So it's going to be something within their gameplay. Do they need a new quarterback? Do they need a rush defense? Do they not have a running back? What is their broken wing? So let's start with the first team in the South. Who you got?
I'll let you choose. We'll go back and forth. I'll choose a team from the North. You choose a team from the South. So go ahead. Tell me who I go first with.
Give me the Breakers.
The Breakers? They need to start strong. It seems like they sleepwalk, and then like their last 2 games are real close, and something starts to click. But like they're really slow in the first half over the last couple weeks. I think their defense gets credit based off of last year's results. This year, I don't see it being as dominant as it once was. Yes, it looked great in week 1, but it's not maulers. But they need to stop sleepwalking and just start strong. That's the biggest thing with them. I think they'll be fine with the veteran quarterback, and I think Flip. I actually have started to like Flip. I think they'll be fine. I picked them this week, but they need to come out firing just like they did against the Stallions the first time. Like they came out ready to go. How many points did they drop? They dropped 40 something, right?
For 41.
Yeah, and I don't know if they've gotten that over the last 3 weeks combined.
No, so they've been bad.
So that tells you that they are sleepwalking through at least a good portion of the game before they wake up and keep the game close. They could have won both games that they lost the last 2 weeks.
Agreed.
Like it wasn't like they got killed. So I really feel New Orleans just needs to start stronger and keep up the pace. So
all right, I agree with that. All right, who's my first North team?
Give me Michigan. We'll go with Cal's team.
Okay, so the Panthers, they need to figure out their quarterback and play calling. So my two biggest things is that they keep flip-flopping. If a quarterback has a bad drive, they're going to pull him out. Throw someone in there, let them play the entire game, and tell them we're not going to pull you. Just do your thing. I don't like the whole there's a QB2, there's someone to replace me right over my shoulder. I don't like that. And then with that is the play calling, because Eric Marty, he's one of the youngest coaches in the league. He's probably the youngest coordinator. And I don't like the fact that now every time I watch the Panthers, I feel like I can call the play that's coming. I shouldn't be able to call the play that's coming. And the fact that every time it's a first down, you say it's going to be a run up the middle. That's not good. Oh my gosh. It's like watching what's his name? Stefanski. I absolutely hated Stefanski's offense when he was the coordinator for the Vikings. Every single first down, it was, we're going to run the ball. We're not going to get any yards. We're going to put ourselves in 3rd and long situations, and then we're going to punt. It was terrible. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening with the Panthers. So if they can just commit to the quarterback for the whole game and give him decent play calling, I think that we see a very different team. We see a bird fly.
Yeah, offensive line and play calling. That's what I would have done. So, yeah. All right, what team you want for me?
I want the Showboats.
The Boats. They need running game, man. Who's their leading rusher on the season? Do you know?
Cole Kelly.
Alex Collins. He hasn't played in 3 weeks. He has 98 yards. He's their leading rusher on the season.
He has 98 yards total.
98 rushing yards total, and he is their leading rusher. Jawan Washington is probably going to pass him out this week.
He is going to pass.
But it's week 7, man. You know what I mean? Like,
dang.
You don't have 100 yards. Like, even the Maulers have that.
And they're going up against the team that arguably has like the best rush defense from last week.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah. So, as long as they keep momentum and they keep building, Jawan Washington did find some running lanes last week, and maybe that's just him settling in with Cole Kelly. I know he knows the playbook with Todd Haley last year, but maybe it's him settling in. But the fact that your leading rusher has been out since week 3 just tells you everything you need to know. So
that's bad.
Running game.
All right. Who you got for me?
Give me Philly.
I knew it was Philly. All right, Philly. What do they have to do? They need red zone. They need to be able to close. What was it that Alec Baldwin said and won an Oscar in Glengarry Glen Ross? He was in a scene for 5 minutes and he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor because he said, winners close, closers close, ABCs always be closing. They cannot. They got into the red zone like 6 times 2 weeks ago, and they had to rely on 8 field goals. Last week, they got in the red zone almost every drive, and did they score 1? I think they scored 1 touchdown.
No touchdowns. Everything was field goals except Armani Dennis.
Dude, close. Always be closing. If you can't close, get out. They just need to find the end zone when they get close to it. It's crazy. I understand that your offensive line is kind of in shambles. It's getting healthier. They brought in an offensive lineman. It's looking better. But the fact that as soon as the field closes up a little bit, you can't find anybody when you have easily the best receiving core in the league, that's insane. So they need to be able to close drives and get into the end zone. That is their broken wing. It's crazy to me.
Gotcha.
Corey Coleman can't get into the end zone with Corey Coleman. That's insane. What? Just throw it to him. Just throw it up.
Yeah. I got you. I got you. What team you want?
All right. Give me, you know what I'm doing. Give me the Stallions.
They need a doctor. That's what they need. They just need a trainer, something. They get hurt all the time. They're always banged up. Like you said, if they lose Magoo, they're done. They
hurt Magoo away from the worst team in the league, in my opinion. I just think so.
They're establishing the run game. Maribel had 100 yards last week.
He's stepping up.
Yeah, so they're establishing and get back to Stallions football. I think there's only 2 teams in the league that have like an identity, and that's the Stallions and the Generals. Going in that are kind of similar to what they were last year, and they got to get, as long as they continue to grow on that Stallions football and establishing that Stallions brand, I think they're going in the right way. I think they lose this week. I think they finish out outside the playoffs. Stallion fans, leave your comments below. But they need a doctor. They need a trainer. They need to stop getting hurt. So
I get that.
That was the easiest answer out of all four.
Yeah, and I don't know. You're right. The T-bone package, we haven't seen it since Bobby Holly and Bo Scarborough got hurt. Like, yeah. I get it. Those were your big bruisers, but you still have H-backs and tight ends. You know, Zaquandre White, he can still lower his pads. We've seen him run through two guys. You can still do the Stallion style offense and really make people respect your run game to let Magoo not have to do everything. So yeah, they really need to get back to who they are, even if you can't, bring back the players that are hurt for the season.
Gotcha. New Jersey, I guess we'll go on the theme. Go ahead.
We're going with it. All right. So New Jersey, their broken wing is DeAndre Johnson. Why is he not in? Why are you starting Kyle Lauletta for an entire game when he couldn't even start for an entire game for the Maulers last season? And they were the worst team we've seen in 2 seasons. And he couldn't start for them last year. Why are you starting Kyle Lauletta? Why is DeAndre Johnson not in? The man, you're going from a 3-dimensional offense to a 2-dimensional offense. The guy's a game changer. He's almost the fastest player on your team at the quarterback position, and he's not in. Maybe he's hurt, maybe something. Give us a reason, because right now it just looks like bad coaching. So I love Mike Riley. I think he's a great coach. He's one of the best coaches in this league, and he needs to at least give us a reason why DeAndre's not in.
Talking about Mike Riley, did you see the highlight when he brought the game ball to Ray Horton?
I did not.
He got a game ball from Ray Horton's first win as a professional head coach, and he got it all done up and everything with the date and the score and everything with the logo, the stars, and he presented it in front of the whole team. And Mike Riley's just a class act. You brought up his name and it just clicked with me. So
absolutely is. I love Mike Riley.
All right, gamblers.
Yep. What's our broken wing?
A complete game. Like, you guys do not play a complete game. One game, your passing game looks great. One game, Mark Thompson carries the team all by himself. Another game, you see the defense play well. Like, it just seems like you guys are never all on the same page. Obviously, you're winning.
Other than the Stars game.
That doesn't count because I think whatever. You know my feelings about the Stars.
We put them in the dirt.
But I just feel like you guys need to produce complete games because you guys are the number 1 team right now. You guys are the hottest team in the league. I know you're not used to that being the top dog, but the only way you can get better is refining your game and completing your game and making this team better and keeping this winning streak. I think you lose this week and we start over from block 1. Next week and we have different conversations, but I just feel like you guys, like the Showboat game, it was like you said, you guys committed a lot of penalties. There was a lot of giving up a lot of yards to Cole Kelly, and but Bahar was good with Hall, and they were able to move the ball a little bit. And then that one game where Mark Thompson just did whatever the heck he wanted,
where he ran 3 different runs from like the 10-yard line.
Yeah,
I mean, all 3 of his touchdowns in that game against the Stallions looked almost identical.
It just doesn't seem like you guys have ever put your best game together.
But imagine if we did.
Yeah, well, and that's your broken wing, is that you haven't done it in 6 weeks. You haven't done it in 6 weeks, so there's always like one aspect that it's like they're not there, and that's the reason why I think it took you guys so long, even though you guys were winning, to come from 8-7 when you started at the beginning of the year to number 1, because there was always but that passing offense gave up a ton of yards. I mean, the passing defense gave up a ton of yards, or that rushing offense. It looked kind of flat a little bit, or passing, or Bahar's turnovers.
There's always something that makes people go, well.
Yeah. So put the game together and we'll be good. So give me the Maulers. Go ahead. I already know where you're going. Go ahead.
Oh, the Maulers need a new play caller. Straight up. They just need a new someone to, even if someone just helps Tomlinson call the plays. Like, I like him as a coach, but their offense is so bad it hurts. Like, they just cannot get in the end zone. To get shut out against the Showboats, who I get their defense is looking better and better, but to just not even look like a competent offense in any capacity this week was so bad. And they just need, new play calling, just something different that maybe then the offense this week, or they call different plays because they have a new play caller. The Stars defense is not ready for it. They're not ready for these calls. It's not the same verbiage. It's not the same stuff. And then that gives you some kind of something to where you get in the end zone. I mean, what do they have? 3 offensive touchdowns on the season?
No, they have like four.
Oh, that's still not good. They're averaging less than 1 a game. They have to pick that up. So that is their broken wing. They just have to something, and I just have to fall in the play calling because Troy Williams is playing his heart out, and they just have so much talent with Bailey Gaither, Trey Walker, Isaiah Henney. I think Madre London is untapped potential that they just won't get the ball in his hands in good situations. They have so much talent to not be producing that I have to fall on the play caller.
Well, I think I hear you. I think they got down and they got scared because they don't produce a lot of points. So they started throwing the ball a lot. If you watch Hammer Time, you know who the leading rusher for the Maulers was this week?
Was it Trey Williams again?
No. It was Bailey Gaither.
What?
2 carries, 16 yards.
And that was the leading rusher. Oh my gosh.
Like Madre had 2 carries for 8 yards. The whole second half they threw the ball. And then they had James Morgan in there.
That was so bad. That guy should never come in again.
Horton said in the presser that Troy's the guy. So I think they kind of waved the white flag, and they were like, you know what, we're just gonna instead of showing
get Troy
all
hurt.
of our cards, and we still control our destiny. Like if they beat the Stars and the Panthers in the next 2 weeks, they're making it the playoffs, and then it's just a one game. You just got to win. Just like every other team, you're on an even playing field. So I think they waved the white flag, but I see what you're saying. They definitely need to step up, especially in the red zone. We've been saying that since the Philadelphia game, week 3.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So that was broken wings. Each team has a broken wing. If they fix
Can we watch that video again or no?
Fly. No, we should not. This video is insane. Oh my gosh. But we do have a video to watch. It is The Blind Side. All right, so The Blind Side is a blindside question coming from our lovely producer, KB. Every week she comes up with a question that we have no idea what it's going to be, and then she hits us with it, and we just have to give our honest and immediate reactions to the question as she says it. So, KB, what question do you have this week?
I don't.
What?
My blind side is that the blind side is not for you. I'm going to handle the blind side by myself.
Cool. What?
So you gentlemen are off the hook.
Okay.
As you know, we are encouraging fan engagement on our YouTube page.
With comments and such.
With comments and such, right? So what I wanted to do is I wanted to shout out some of the people that are making comments, posting questions, so that people see that we see their comments and their questions.
Awesome.
So we've got people like Strange C73. We've got James A 3164. We've got Dina Sissons 8454. Iceman 3117.
Ice.
What?
Ice, baby.
Oh gosh. Don't do that to me. Football Frenzy 88. Irish Samurai X. Who else? Oh, there's another guy in here. Scott Farley. Scott Farley 3644. Gold Pod UW to CW. Again, your Dan W. Mike G 1899 is a frequent commenter.
I see him a lot.
Texas Pete 8509. And I could not have a segment like this without mentioning Xander W 23, who, as a matter of fact, during our recording, posted a comment to our Tell Me About It that dropped tonight that said easily the best week of Tell Me About It this season with the brothers hosting the show.
Did he really?
He did. Yeah. 12.
That's
well,
awesome.
I mean, I'm scrolling through my phone. It says 12 minutes ago. So what I want to do is I would like to make the executive decision here to sweeten the pot for people who, engage with us on our YouTube, post questions, comments. So once this episode drops, and we'll also see who watches the whole episode, right, guys?
True, because this is the end.
Because this is the very end. But the first person to comment on this episode, and include KB Blindside, we are going to give a USFL gift card to, so that they can buy some merch for the team of their choice, and in our thanks for supporting our YouTube page.
Well, that's awesome. So the first person to comment KB Blindside on this video, or mention the KB Blindside on this video, gets a USFL gift card. Guys, I don't know if you know this, Antigua Apparel, like, they do all of the sideline gear and stuff for the league. All the coaches and the players, if they're wearing the gear on the sideline, they're wearing it. I'm wearing Antigua right now. It is great stuff. Also, they'll follow you on Twitter. They're awesome.
Well, and I really do appreciate it, because there were quite a few people this week who were posting, because for some reason the league never published the Stallions post-game presser.
Yeah.
And I communicated back and forth with several people in the comments and such that were looking for it. And I appreciate that they come to us as a source for those things. And that, obviously we would have posted it had the league made it available. They did not. We don't know why. But I appreciated the engagement. So I just want to give a little reward to our frequent commenters.
Well, that was awesome. That definitely did blindside me.
So that's my blindside.
Yeah,
you're off the hook. I took care of it myself.
I just want to shout out Xander, because he always comments.
Every video.
I couldn't agree more about getting Maverick on a show more frequently, because Maverick is so insightful and so good at what he does.
He gets better every time.
Yeah, I know time constraints sometimes, but we need a Maverick show.
I agree.
We need something
at least by season 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it right now. The Panthers are not good. It's not super motivational for him, but I want to show by season 3, we need a Maverick. I don't know what you would call it, but a Maverick Panther show.
the man danced for the world to see.
Dude, that caught me off guard. That just didn't feel like my brother. I've known this kid since he was born, and he's a little shy when it comes to public things, and he just posted that video dancing. It was awesome.
The best part was the next week he just was like, "Hey guys," he was complete opposite. I hosted it that week, and I was just like,
"We lost." It was so.
What a lot of people don't know is when they tell me about it, videos when we host it, we don't watch the videos until
I didn't watch a single one.
All live reaction. So like, I remember mine. Like everyone kept mentioning Maulers.
Everyone dissed the Maulers.
And then like this week, I know I was all down and out. I'm sure that you guys
laugh.
You
guys get shut out. It's the first shutout of the year, and you do your tell me about a video in your car, and it's pouring rain outside. It was poetic. I had no idea that you did that. So when it came up, I mean, it came back and we were both laughing at it. So yeah, it is. We don't watch them beforehand. We like to have the live reaction of it. And yeah, it's a fun time. I like Tell Me About It. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for episode 16 of USFL Authority. KB has posed a challenge. Make sure you watch the whole show, comment and mention the USFL, the KB Blindside. And also like and subscribe to the channel. 1,000 subscribers. Once we hit that, one of the subscribers, a random sub, will get a signed Cavante Turpin USFL MVP Cowboys jersey. Oh my gosh, it's in my closet. It's collecting dust. Not really, because it's in a bag. It's airtight. I'm not letting that thing get dirty, because it's coming to you pristine and perfect with the JSA certification that someone watched Cavante sign it. So with that, Webb, now we do it.